or Beasley Media Group.
Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. All right, today is Monday, April 11th. 7 more days till tax day and 7 more days until Gestapo Joe masks mandates end. Yay! I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Hey, you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and other social media by searching Larry Steinhouse. I think I'm still on YouTube, but I have no idea. Just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can find it, and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. I actually recently opened up a Rumble account because, I don't know, YouTube keeps blocking my content. You can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and please say hi so I know you're watching. Hey, by the way, if you're commenting from a group and it's not the Money Chat Now page on Facebook, your name may not appear on my dashboard, so please go to the Money Chat Now page and comment there so I can recognize you. Money Chat Now, of course, is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. And there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. Hey, real quick, I want to say hello to a couple of people watching online. I want to say hello to, wow, a bunch of people online right now. I want to say hello to Mark and Charles and Mike and Joe and James, Lewis, Carrie. Boy, thanks. I always appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate you guys. All right. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the futures update. We're going to be talking about our event coming up. We're going to be talking about Israel. We're going to be talking about cutting back if you're in a recession. And we're going to be talking about retail stocks. All right, let's go. Let's go right into the futures update. So Friday, I don't know if you guys knew it, but we were off the air due to technical difficulties from the storm that plowed through the Philadelphia region on Thursday night. It was a nightmare. Actually, we were glad we didn't lose electricity, but we definitely lost all our internet connections and all our connections to the radio station. So that basically makes 2 weeks we were out on a Friday. And check it out, this Friday is Good Friday and the market's closed, so that'll be 3 weeks we're out on Friday. So I know you guys get excited about Phone Call Friday, but that's going to be the third week we're going to be out. All right, but let's catch you guys up. Friday wasn't such a good day, but the Dow did close up 137 points. The NASDAQ got hit and it was down about 186 points. Now here's something interesting. The big winner last week was Hewlett-Packard. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, disclosed a big stake in the company, as they feel it'll be the next Apple-type investment. Well, I got to tell you, I examined this stock. So with a price of 38 and a multiple of about 7, it's probably very undervalued. I said the same thing about Apple many years ago, and I said the same thing. The multiple was too low. So, and it also has, by the way, this has a 2.59% dividend. So you can really bet on this stock. I actually think it's really good. I believe the symbol is HPQ. Apparently, basically, Warren Buffett agrees, right? Now, if you're thinking about getting in, you might want to wait a few minutes for the hype to die down. I've noticed that when Buffett buys, the stocks pop and then fall somewhere to the mid-range where they were and where they are and where they were. In other words, I would look for a buy price of about 35 before taking the plunge. Now, you guys also know that Twitter was an interesting story last week when Elon Musk took his position as the number one stockholder at 9% ownership. The stock popped and then it settled down. Now, the crazy part is that Musk was invited to be on the board to help guide the company into, free speech. But he decided not to join the board. Now, there's something interesting about that. And I know that, I think it's a 15% or 14 point something percent, which is the maximum he can own if he's a board member. So it's very possible he did this strategically because he wants to own more of the company. We're going to find out. All right, the stock is almost back to where it was before he bought the shares. By the way, hey Musk, can you buy Disney and try to control that disaster instead? I mean, what is going on over there? That is unbelievable. What's going on with the crazy left-wing nuts? All right, The best quote from Musk, however, was when he suggested that Twitter should turn its headquarters in San Francisco into a homeless shelter since no one goes there anyway. Yikes. All right, as for the rest of the stock, it really looks like Wall Street is trying to decide if the market is going to be a normal March earnings season or become another January. If you recall, this January's earnings season was terrible and most of the stocks tanked. We could have a repeat, and that has Wall Street worried. It has me worried too, to be honest with you. All right, the other bad news is that the Chinese stock market dropped about 3% overnight due to inflation worries. The Chinese are keeping Omicron alive by locking down the population again and again. They have not given up on controlling the population with this nonsense. At least here in the United States, we have some freedom fighters who have fought to fight back. The fight, although a bit late, has helped sanity to be restored in most areas, unless, of course, you live in New York or Philadelphia, where the threats of mask wearing is making a comeback. All right, the midterms, and to me, the midterms can't come soon enough. We have earnings season kicking off this week, and that means it's likely that the market will rock today, even though it doesn't look like it so far. All right, we should have the investors looking to place their bets on their favorite companies as they release their earnings. The big start will be on Wednesday and Thursday when JP Morgan and other banks start off. Also, Wednesday is Delta Airlines, and I'll set the stage for other airlines as well. I need a real good report right now to dig me out of my American Airlines hole. If these do well, the market will always does well for the next few days. Earnings season always brings excitement to the market, and as I've said before, it's like my Super Bowl. I'll be watching closely, and I'll fill you guys in for the details. Pick your positions now and get ready to white knuckle it. The bond market is also scary right now. We're touching about the 2.75% mark, and that's bad for NASDAQ stocks. We might continue to take a hit there, but look, just remember that the bond is hit a high of 3.25 in 2019 when the economy was on fire and the scamdemic hadn't been an issue yet. That also brings me to recession fears. Keep watching because the recession is definitely coming in about 9 to 15 months. The economy is great right now, and you should take advantage of it and set yourself for the upcoming mess. Look, I keep telling you, get lines of credit, get lines of credit, get lines of credit, have hard assets like real estate, precious metals, and when the recession comes, those will be the means to take advantage of it, and you'll be a multimillionaire in 10 years from now, I guarantee it. All right, let's take a quick look at the futures. Right now, the Dow is down 82, the S&P is down 21, and the NASDAQ is down 129. Not very good. Hey, look, I also mentioned a couple of things in the last segment that make me want to remind you about our event. It's clear that a recession is coming, and I want to teach you how to prepare for it. I mentioned freedom from masks and vaccines. Look, we're going to be having an event that we're hosting in the Washington Crossing Inn in Bucks County. It's Finances and Freedom event. Along with myself, we will have the outspoken Bill Spadea as a keynote speaker. We have added Doug Mastriano as another keynote speaker, and Doug's story is going to mesmerize you as a leading contender in the governor's race for Pennsylvania. You'll also want to be in the event to shake his hand and wish him luck. And look, both of these guys are amazing freedom fighters, but we also have 5 other speakers, including myself. We have speakers like Dan Zatowski, who will teach you how to raise all the private funds you'll ever need in any real estate deal. We have Anna Kelly teaching you how to buy apartment complexes. We have Phil Falcone with this case study of multiple deals of a lifetime. We even have personal trainer coming up to keep your blood flowing. And look, at all this and a great lunch from the executive chef at the Washington Crossing Inn. Listen, I'm also going to personally teach you how to take advantage of the upcoming recession. You're going to be introduced to topics like paying less taxes, paying more money, how to buy houses with no money, no money out of your own pocket, and of course, how to invest in stocks and stock options. All this, all day, one day event. Look, if you haven't already, go to 4mmw.com, 4mmw.com, and register for this event before the tickets sell out. We have about 20 seats left, so go to 4mmw to register. It's going to sell out fast. All right, real quick, I just want to see if there's anybody new online that I haven't said hello to. I think I've said hello to everybody. Bill, Linda, James, Mohammed. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys all the time. Okay, let's talk about Israel. Has anybody noticed Israel lately? Has anybody noticed that there have been the most terrorist attacks in the past few months than there has been in a very long time? These stories of terrorism are just footnotes in the news nowadays. Why? Because this country no longer cares about what happens to Israel. We had a president who for the first time was truly negotiating peace in Israel. We had a president who was truly caring for the people in Israel and helping them to be recognized in sovereignty. Trump was the first to recognize Jerusalem as the true capital of Israel, And this is something other presidents promised but never accomplished. Now we have the geriatric patient, brain dead in the White House. And look, we used to be the most powerful nation in the country, and now the Jews in the country are actually accountable for the abandonment of Israel. The Jews who forget they're Jews and forget the meaning of Judaism in the first place. The Jews who are my brethren. Steinhouse, hey, remember, right? The Jews who forgot the trials and tribulations our ancestors went through to make sure the next generation of Jew can be born. And then they vote away or help the liberals take away the president who would help Israel. You turned your back on your own homeland. We approach Passover, and with any of you left who still honor this event, you're going to read from your Haggadah, and you're going to read the following words: Lashana haba Yisraelim. Excuse me if I have a little trouble pronouncing it. It's been a long time. But here's what it means in English: next year in Jerusalem. The saying has the meaning that in next year, we will all join our brothers and sisters in Jerusalem and celebrate together. Well, now that you all voted or helped the scam to remove Trump, that dream gets further and further away. Last Thursday, another terrorist attack happened in a little quaint restaurant and a bar in Tel Aviv. Two lifelong friends who were about the age of 28 was shot and killed as anti-Israel terrorists sprayed bullets into the restaurant. Just another footnote in the media. And although I didn't know these people, one was a brother of a good friend of mine. My friend, who some of you may know. His brother was just out for just relaxing with a friend. And yes, of course, now we have the war in Ukraine, and we have terrorism in Israel and other places, and people are dying. People you don't know, or people you don't know yet. Next time you allow a person like Pelosi or Obama or Biden to get power in this country, look your brother in the eye and picture the pain of my friend who lost his brother in your decision. I need to take a break here.
Investor schooling. Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling? Those guys are everywhere.
Investor schooling?
Those guys are everywhere.
Investor Schooling. Those guys are everywhere. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and if you'd like more information, go to investorschooling.com, or you can call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Hey, thanks for listening on WWDB AM Radio, 860. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money. Hit that like button and let me know you enjoy the show. And you can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I will try to respond to them live. All right, we've been discussing the futures update. We discussed our event. Go to 4mmw.com, 4mmw.com, and make sure you sign up for that. We talked about the fact that people are dying in Israel and all over the country, all over the world because of stupidity. I don't know. All right, we're going to be talking about cutting back. We're going to be talking about retail stocks and, of course, today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button yet? Did you hit that share button? Don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure to set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home and let me know what you think of the show. Look, before we enter the second half, we all know a financial situation is coming. Look, is it going to be a recession or a simple downturn? Well, if you want to survive through it, you should order my new book. Go to barnesandnoble.com, look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse, pre-order it, and I promise you're going to learn something. Look, it's gotten great reviews from the people who got an advanced copy of the book. In fact, I think if you go to Amazon right now, you can even download the first 2 chapters for free if you have a Kindle. So take a look. Check out Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. All right, let's get into the second half. Hey, the recession is coming, and some people are starting to get a bit fearful of it already. So what do people do when they feel the pressure? Well, this is some of the places they cut back and some of the businesses that will be affected. To start with, restaurants will take one of the biggest hits. Just when they thought it was safe to reopen after the government destroyed their businesses, restaurants will feel the pain of inflation the hardest. In a survey of about 4,000 people, it seems that 50% of them say that they have already cut back on eating out. People are also cutting back on driving their cars, less trips because of the high gas prices. They will be canceling vacations as well. Look, it's bad for my American Airlines play. However, I did have a tough time finding seats for an upcoming trip, so I think it hasn't happened yet. Subscriptions are also going to be hit, like Netflix or other subscriptions, and many are going to cancel those services or any other streaming services. Inflation is also at its highest level in 40 years, and of course it's pushed up the prices of most consumer goods, and that includes housing, food, and energy. And that means many Americans are suddenly spending more on essentials. And all of a sudden they have that new word, essentials, making their budgets tighter without any change in habits. People are noticing these hikes and paying closer attention. Nearly half of all adults said that they think about rising prices all the time, while 55% of the annual incomes is about $50,000 or less, and these are constantly checking costs. So it's kind of tough, right, for people making less than $50,000. It is going to affect people on lower incomes for sure. And if you're watching online, please let me know if you're cutting back on anything. So let me know. Hey, just so you know, I haven't made any changes yet, except for really refinancing about a dozen properties, which did lower my expenses, and it was great. Hey, let me know if you've lowered expenses on anything. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. By the way, let's get into. Let me say a little real quick. There's a couple of people online that just joined us. We got Colin and Rob and Larry. Thanks, Larry. Always appreciate you. I know you're back from Canada. All right, let's talk about airlines and staffing. Speaking of cutting back, it appears that many of the airlines are cutting back flights this year. Look, not because they're afraid of the lack of demand. In fact, it's just the opposite. They're expecting such high demand that they feel that they don't have the staff, including pilots and flight crew, to handle it. Last year we saw massive flight cancellations as the airlines were short-staffed. This is a mess everywhere. People were sleeping in airports, I don't know if you remember, missing connections and losing their vacations over this. The bad press and negative reviews are a problem for this already stressed marketplace. Look, as an announcement to their employees, JetBlue said it plans to cut summer capacity by as much as 10%. This is when, people are going to be flying more often. The CEO of Alaska said, "We've recently let down some of our valued guests by canceling an unusual number of flights. The primary cause of cancellations is the shortage of pilots available to fly versus what was planned when we built our April schedule in January." This was announced when they too cut back flights this coming summer. So with the reporting of airlines' earnings this week, we're going to see if there's any other further announcements of cutbacks or flights. Look, if the big guys keep their current schedule, it'll all be good for recovery in the sector. I told you earlier, I have a tough time booking my flight recently, and most of the seats were full. And I think that's going to be a really good indicator of the airline stocks, so I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. I think we should be all right. It's just going to be one of those tough things. All right, let's talk about retail stocks. Hey, look, with all the talk about recession, how will retail stocks fare in the next few months or years? Well, let's discuss it. You would expect the discount stores like Dollar Tree, or is it now $1.25 tree? I don't know. I forget. Anyway, Dollar Tree will continue to do well, but what about companies like Macy's or Kohl's? Dollar Tree is currently selling for $163 a share with a multiple of 28. That means it's selling for 28 times its value, and it has no dividend. So you would just have your money sitting there waiting for the stock to increase. Personally, I think Dollar Tree is no longer in the growth phase to maintain that kind of price, and I would expect it to fall to about half of the current price. Yeah, I guarantee you sales are going to go up when times are tough, but it's not going to justify this kind of cost for the stock. Macy's, on the other hand, is selling for below $24, and it's selling for 5 times earnings. Look, the company also pays a dividend of over 2.5%, making it a great bargain all around. This is a great buy. It's a great buy and hold stock. And look, it's a great, basically you could buy and hold and still cover calls on it. Let's talk about Kohl's, right? So Kohl's is selling for about $58 a share, and its multiple is about 8. So it's selling for a reasonable price. The dividend is also great in the 3.5% range. Kohl isn't going anywhere. So I would call this a winner. Even Best Buy could be a winner with the stock selling at about 93. It's selling for about 11 times earnings. I'd actually like to see it sell for about 7 times earnings or a price for about 75, but it's not bad here. It also has a nice dividend of 3.77%, and at 75, that would be over 4%. It looks like the retail stocks may make a comeback shortly, especially the tried and true brands and companies. Just look for low price to earnings multiple and a high dividend, and there's going to be great plays. You're going to make some good money on them. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with what I think the market's going to do today. Investor schooling needs a new slogan.
Investor schooling? Never heard of.
Investor schooling?
Never heard of.
Investor schooling? Never heard of them.
Any suggestions? Phil?
Investor schooling. We never heard of you either.
Investor Schooling. We never heard of you either. Register for a free class at investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, if you ever heard of them, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. By now, somebody must have heard of investor schooling. All right, so far we've been talking about, of course, the futures update. Right now, the Dow is down 118, the S&P is down 26, and the NASDAQ is down 145. Not good. All right, we talked about our event. Hey, listen, go to 4mmw.com, 4mmw.com, and please sign up for our event. We talked about Israel and, some terrorist attacks there. Not good. Not good at all. We talked about cutting back, and we talked about retail stocks. Coming up, we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you hit that like button yet? Did you hit that share button yet? Let everyone know what great stock plays are coming by sharing this information. You can hit share on your page or on groups that you feel will benefit from great stock plays. You can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this station and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. All right. I actually believe it should be a good day today, believe it or not. I'm not sure why, but I think it's good, even if the Dow is down. When I arrived at the studio at 4:30 this morning, the futures were down about 150, and then they came back, and they were only down about 5 or 6, but they're down again about 117, which doesn't make me really happy. But we did see that small recovery. It's possible it's going to recover again. The NASDAQ, however, is staying down about where it was the whole time, so the NASDAQ is now about 146. Look, we're on the edge of earnings season, and that usually brings a spring to the market. March is traditionally a hot month for stocks, and it was really up until last week's endings. When it ended last week, just didn't end as well. We need a quick score in this earnings season to make it work for us. No repeats of January, please. January was a nightmare. Some stocks to look for this week will include the bank stocks. JP Morgan will reveal their earnings on Wednesday, and that'll kick us off. Look for the other bank stocks at the end of this week and the beginning of next. Meta and Apple will have their earnings at the end of the month. This usually brings them both up, so watch for it. But Meta usually tanks after earnings, and Apple usually goes up over earnings. But I'm actually more worried about Facebook and the market reaction. It might actually be similar to January. Pick your plays going into earnings. There's going to be some really good plays right now. Whatever it is that you want to be in there, and then play it into earnings or play it past earnings. Make sure you realize that earnings is coming. You might want to play it over 2 earnings, especially if you're buying stock options. All right, right now, final check. The Dow is down 104, the S&P is down 25, and the NASDAQ is down about 140. All right, on the crypto scene, Bitcoin fell back to about 41,500, and Ether is about 3,000 again. I'd like to see it, if you really want to get into Bitcoin, I'd like to see it about 30,000, and I'd like to see Ether around 2,000, and to me, those are buys. And you're going to buy and sell it. Don't worry about this whole collecting and hodling and becoming a miner stuff. If you want to buy on the low and sell on the high, do it. Be between 30,000 and 32,000 in Bitcoin and sell it when it hits the 40s. And the same thing with Ether, about 2,200, and sell it when it hits about the 3,200 range. All right, let's talk about gold and silver. Look, gold and silver are moving up on inflation worry. Gold is about 1960 right now, and silver is over 25 again. So these are pretty good. These are going to be inflation hedges. These are things I suggest you buy, and I'll be telling you more about that at the Freedom and Finance event. Go to 4mmw.com. By the way, I don't sell gold. I don't sell silver. We're just going to be talking about it. The Treasury bond is over that really scary number of 2.75. I'm concerned with this number. This number actually is going to be a problem. It's going to pull the NASDAQ down, and I bet you 3 is going to happen pretty soon. Oil, of course, is back below 100, which is what I said it would do, and it's back down below 95. Gas prices just fall below $4 a gallon, and when they do that, Biden's going to say, look, I did it. I made the gas prices below $4 a gallon. We'll see, but at the same time, I don't think that's all that impressive that he made the gas prices below $4 a gallon. Look, oil was really important to the market, and it may not be that important to the market any longer. And it looks like the market is responding more to the Treasury bond than it's responding to, of course, anything else. Hey, look, as always, I want to thank the listeners on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and I want to thank you for your continued support. And look, if you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. I want to say it one more time. Look, I have my new book coming out. My new book is called Money Hacks, and if you want to survive through the next recession, you know, it may actually just be a simple downturn, but either way, if you want to survive through it, you should order my new book, Money Hacks. And this new book is actually called Money Hacks because everything you think you know about money is wrong. And trust me, everything you think you know about money is wrong. I'm going to teach you how to make more money, how to pay less taxes, and how to live a better lifestyle by reading this book. The book's $20. It's probably even tax deductible. Look, you should also know, of course, that from time to time, I own some of the assets and some of the stocks discussed in this show. I also own some of the stock options discussed in this show. The opinions on the show is solely mine. No one's asked me to discuss them. And real quick, I also want to make sure that you guys know that you want to go to www.4mmw.com and sign up, of course, for the amazing event that we have on the 24th. And listen, also, if anybody's local to Newtown, next week on the 20th, Bill Spady and I are just going to be going there. We're going there for a drink afterwards, and we invited anybody who wants to come. So if you want to go to the Temperance House at 5:30 next week in Newtown, 5:30 next week in Newtown, the Temperance House, Bill Spady and I are going to be hanging out there. We actually have some free appetizers coming, and the drinks are on you, but we have some free appetizers coming. You can get Bill Spady's autograph. You can shake our hands, and you can just talk a little bit about common sense with us. So you want to go to the Temperance House. We actually have a meetup group. If you want to go to meetup group, just look it up. You'll be able to attend that. It'd be great if you can RSVP to it. And I want to thank once again all the listeners on WWDB AM Radio 860 AM. I want to thank you for your continued support. Let me know what you think of the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a profitable day.